Okay, hello everyone. Welcome from Basel, Switzerland, from the Basel Institute on Governance to the second info session on the Basel study programs. We have started these programs this year. There will be the first intakes and the first classes this fall and next and early spring of 2026. And we would like to give you a little bit of an overview about what the postgraduate programs that we are offering are about the frameworks, a little bit about the content, and you certainly will see some of the people who are behind these programs to also have a few faces at least that you have seen. First of all, I will give a general overview about what the postgraduate programs are all about. So we have one program on anti-corruption and one program on asset recovery. And in the second phase, we will then look into these programs individually with some conversations with the people that are actually developing the content and will also provide the courses then later on. We will then give you a few tips on how to apply, so guide you through the process. And finally, because a lot of the concerns about this program is basically about the tuition fees that we have for the programs, I will also speak a little bit about the Gretta Fenner Scholarship Fund that we have set up 2 months ago, and that is an instrument how we would at least try to give some financial support to some of the participants of the programs. Finally, we'll conclude with a Q&A session, but please also feel free to write any questions that you might have that might come up during the presentation in the chat so that we can take care of them at the end. So the Basel study program, why are we actually doing this? Most of you will probably know that corruption is an issue in almost every country in the world. So we have corruption and financial crime undermining the foundations of societies. This is stalling economic growth and eroding public trust in institutions. So the understanding of the dynamics of corruption and financial crime is essential for professionals from any sector and any corner of the world. And we would like to, with these Basel study programs, provide solid knowledge and relevant skills for these challenges in the 21st century. So a modern course that, or two modern courses that are looking into the very foundations of the topics, but also how these problems can be tackled, how these challenges can be solved in the 21st century with a lot of issues that are just coming up or will be coming up over the next years. We would like to create a platform for exchange and career development for people who are working in these areas. So the vision behind this program is to grow an international community of professionals and practitioners who are involved in the fight against corruption and financial crime or in asset recovery activities, and to really become a global community and stay in contact and develop careers and develop knowledge. So for those of you who are not familiar what the Basel Institute is, we are a non-for-profit organization that for 20 years works globally to support individuals and institutions in their efforts to tackle corruption and financial crime through a lot of activities, a lot of things that we are doing. You see on this slide, for example, and you see also the links to the web pages if you are interested in getting more information about what we are doing in the publication sector, but also tools to tackle money laundering, to address risks of money laundering globally. One example just is the AML, the Basel AML Index, which is a tool for organizations worldwide to assess the risks of money laundering in various countries around the world. So among these various activities, we are trying to focus on anti-corruption and prevention, on asset recovery and enforcement, and on business integrity and governance. So we are tackling global challenges together. And this is why we are a lot of the activities that we are doing fall into the area of empowerment, enabling, and connection of practitioners. And you remember what I said at the beginning, that also the Basel study programs are meant to be an instrument for creating and growing an international community of practitioners and professionals in these fields. So we would like to continue with this in terms of our own vision and our own mission as an organization. And here within this empowerment and connection activities, training, learning, and education is a core element. So you see here a couple of pictures, one from hands-on training for government agencies, and we will hear from my colleague Thierry later on about the asset recovery course. Also, the International Center for Asset Recovery is doing a lot of trainings for government agencies, for people from law enforcement, for prosecutors, from other organizations in our partner countries to teach them skills in asset recovery. On the other hand, we are doing academic teaching, and here you see in the picture on the right-hand side my colleague Claudia, who is leading our CAS on anti-corruption, and she's also teaching in various programs in universities in Europe, including the University of Basel, where she's also teaching in programs for bachelor's and master's students. Some of you might know the e-learning courses that we provide for free. Basel Learn is the platform where we are offering a number of well-received e-learning courses, short skills courses that you can do on an afternoon, and which provide you various skills straight on, really up to the point that you can use them on the next day. And on top of that comes now our Basel study programs. And this is a larger endeavor that we are trying to do. It is aimed at individuals that already have a university degree and relevant work experience. So everybody who will be in the class comes with these preconditions, except for some people that we can also include into the class based on a very large relevant work experience in the field. So in those cases, you not necessarily need a university degree, but usually that is the case. We are targeting as participants working professionals, so people who are actually on their job. The whole program will be, or the duration will be 6 months, starting either for the one course in September, for the other course in February. I will give the information about the starting dates later on because they're different in the two courses. And you can reckon about 11 to 12 hours per week of workload that you need to invest into your studies. But this, I think, gives you the opportunity to stay in your jobs, to not reduce your workload in your jobs for studying with us. All this is led by the experts of our team. Many people from our team that are working in anti-corruption for many years, but also people from the University of Basel that are mainly teaching about the global, academic principles of the topics. And we also have people from our global network, from other universities, from other organizations that bring in special knowledge about certain topics. So we tend to combine state-of-the-art research with real-world insights, so combining basic principles, basic knowledge with practical experience and skills. We are doing this in a very interactive and flexible way of learning. So you will have online sessions every week for a couple of for the entire duration of the course. And in these online sessions, they will not be webinars, as you might know it from other courses, but it's really an interaction. You have input from our practitioners and from our experts, but most of the time, or a lot of the time, you will be working on case studies, discuss in groups, and so share from your peers also the knowledge that they bring into the class and how we can learn together throughout the program. Then we have the performance assignment, which is basically based on a study project that you will do throughout the course. And we also will have a forum where we mostly discuss aspects of leadership and the skills that you need for career development in our fields, besides the technical knowledge that you have and that we are covering in the technical modules. So performance assignment will mainly be on that study project. So you will give a presentation at the end of the program, and you will also hand in a short report on your study project. With all that, we would like to boost your knowledge and skills and also your career development and strengthen also various skills that you need for your careers in the future. So the central benefits that you take away is certainly a balanced mix of up-to-date knowledge and skills and networking, because you get to know a couple of people who are your peers, but also who are teaching in the program. We have very excellent people from academia and practice as our teachers. We are very much focusing on interdisciplinary. So concepts from relevant disciplines, stakeholders, and case experiences in a blended learning interactive concept. And yeah, directly useful also through the exercise that you're doing in the study program, something that you can apply in your jobs right away. So what you will receive in the end is a certificate of advanced studies, which is a very well-known qualification in Switzerland. Those of you who are familiar with the European education system, you will probably recognize that the ECTS credits are a European credit framework, and we have a 10 ECTS credits course. So this is being translated into 300 hours of work for you throughout the entire length of the program. You will get a certificate and a diploma supplement that documents your achievements. And as I said, we are working together with the University of Basel. The Basel Institute on Governance was born in the university, actually, more than 20 years ago. In the law department, and we are still an associated institute of the university. And so we are naturally partnering with the university also in this program. So let's move a little bit into the direction of information to the individual programs. So we have two programs available at this point. One is Mastering Today's Anti-Corruption Challenges, and the name of the other is Combating Financial Crime Through Asset Recovery. So as said before, 6 months program starting either in September 2025 on the 25th of September is the Mastering Today's Anti-Corruption Challenges program, and the other Financial Crime Through Asset Recovery is starting on the 5th of February 2026. We have these online sessions, but we also provide optional in-person events here in Basel. So you can come and learn with us, but you don't have to. At the beginning and the end of each of these programs, for everybody who cannot come, the events, the teaching events that are part of these entire events are broadcasted also online, so that you can follow us also from your screens at home. And now we are looking into each of these programs separately. And so we will introduce them a little bit more in detail. And for the CAS Mastering Today's Anti-Corruption Challenges, we do this in a conversation with Dr. Claudia Baez Camargo, who is the director of our Prevention, Research and Innovation team and the lead instructor of the CAS Mastering Today's Anti-Corruption Challenges, and with Dr. Jacopo Costa, who is also a senior specialist for our Prevention, Research and Innovation team, and also an instructor of the CAS. The conversation will be led by my colleague Anna Pale, and I take over. Anna, can you just take over? Thanks.
Thank you, Jörg, and hello everyone. Thank you for joining our information session. Also, welcome to this conversation, Jacopo and Claudia. And so my name is Anna, and I'm the study program assistant for the Basel STUDY program. This means that if you have questions or if you register to the course, you probably have to deal with me directly. So yeah, now let's start with a personal question that I have for both of you, Claudia and Jacopo. And that question is, why are you working on the anti-corruption fields? And I mean, like, why is this topic so significant and interesting from your perspective?
Thanks, Anna. Hi, everybody. Well, it's a quite straightforward answer, to be honest. I come originally from Mexico. I have lived firsthand the impact of corruption and the prevalence of corruption. So the link of corruption to poverty has been very clear to me since I was very young, but also very importantly, when you grow up in a very corrupt country, you are socialized in a way whereby you may go to the classroom, to your civic classes, and be taught about what is the right way to behave, what are your rights, entitlements, and what is legal and illegal. Whereas as soon as you step out the door, you realize that the world works differently. So this kind of ambivalence that I've experienced myself as a child is something that I think makes fighting corruption particularly difficult. So it's not just a question of changing laws, it's more than that. And so for this reason and all the complexities involved, this topic has always fascinated me.
Thank you, Claudia. What about you, Jacopo?
Thank you very much, Anna. I agree with what Claudia was saying, and I will add that basically I will say that better research is very important to have also better policies. And here we are on the concrete application of what we do every day by exploring and doing investigation on specific mechanism, connection, and etc. etc. So we know that there is a very high ethical value in what we do. To have, it's very important for citizens and for the well-being of the society. It's very important to study, to have a better understanding of what is corruption, for having also a better, quality of our institution and political regime. And last but not least, it's very important to have a vivid and lively public debate on the topic that can help civil society, in supporting democratization and democratic values. So I think that this is part of, why our work is really, really important in this
Thank
sector.
you, Jacopo. That's perfect. So now, in your opinion, what do you think our CAS program is relevant for the career of anti-corruption professional at different stages of their careers?
Yeah, I guess it's very important for example, we can start by the acquisition of knowledge and skills that are basically at the frontier of the corruption, anti-corruption domain. We work every day, daily, together with Claudia, with our colleagues, in better understanding, unpacking the mechanism and the modus operandi of corruption. And this is, of course, very important for both principiants and experts, so people with more expertise and with more experience in the sector. And we combine, and I think that another added value is to combine this knowledge of the modus operandi, strategies of corruption in our current world, with, of course, a better, framing together with the challenges that we are living that are different, going from the climate change to, conflicts, social well-being, and et cetera, et cetera. So we try to really contextualize and give the tools and the toolbox for those participating to interpreting world with a coherent and holistic framework and lens that can help also during their daily work life, and et cetera, et cetera. And then, as Jörg was anticipating, the participants can create really a network of people, global, so all over the world, and this is, of course, helping and supporting them in opening new opportunities, in strengthening collaboration and coordination, and et cetera, et cetera. So this can be really positive for the career of someone, someone starting in this domain, or someone else with more experience. No less, having this solid network is something important for the career of people.
Of course, network is always very important. Claudia, now I would like to also talk to you a little bit more about the content of the course, and what are the important aspects of corruption that makes up the programs.
Absolutely. And here I must start by saying that what makes the Basel Institute really special, and especially our team, is that we combine academic research with practitioners' experience. So this means that the content of our offer is rigorous and, very importantly, based on real life experience. So it's not just theoretical, but for people who want actionable knowledge. And furthermore, it's timely because the curriculum is designed to be conversant with the pressing challenges of our times. So this means we're going to speak about how corruption is linked to topics like democratic regression, increased migration flows, climate change, the return of aggressive geopolitics, which I think is in all of our minds these days. So corruption is not an abstract thing, it's impacting our everyday lives. So we will make these connections. And it's also important that, we will be grappling with realities and not with simply aspirational ideas, as sometimes certain anti-corruption recommendations tend to focus on, well, just be more transparent, just be more accountable. What are the realities that are enabling and promoting corruption in the real world? So we will share some of the insights from our work. For example, that corruption is a highly networked phenomenon. This means that it's not enough to take out even the leader of the corruption scheme, because the network lives on, and corruption is therefore very, very resilient. We also have to understand that whether we're working at the community, regional, national level, as anti-corruption practitioners, we are dealing with complex adaptive social systems. And what this means is that change is not linear. So, for example, the experience of the Basel Institute, being on the forefront of actually implementing anti-corruption actions, we know that when we have anti-corruption wins, we can be sure that corruption will fight back. So we need to be preparing for that. We know that when new anti-corruption laws are adopted, then corruption will evolve, because it will be a reaction to the new constraints, and so on and so forth. So we will speak about behavior change and how important it is to complement the legal and traditional toolboxes of the anti-corruption practitioner. We will speak about the importance of dealing with social norms, with building trust, and also to think about how our anti-corruption practice can be more anticipatory, and the use of AI and other technologies to help us do that.
Thank you, Claudia. As Jacopo said, this is a very, very holistic approach and very, very complete. So Jacopo, can you also please elaborate a bit on how the program is structured, please?
So basically, we decided to identify 5 main modules that are basically the macro topics that we are going to cope with and to explore together with the participants in the course. Each of these 5 modules is split in 4 sessions, and these are corresponding to the class that we are going to give. So the first session will be the 27th of September 2025, the last one the 21st of March 2026. And as Jörg was saying, the first and the last one of these sessions will be, potentially in person for those who desire to come to Basel, while all the others will be online, lasting for 4 hours basically. While during this hour, of course, we will give some, knowledge and some, we will teach a little bit to give the basic knowledge that is needed, while then we are planning to have a real large part of where the participants can interact each other, work on scenarios, so try to apply a little bit more concretely what we have taught them during the lesson. So of course, each module, each of these 5 modules is about a specific topic. So the first one will give, for example, an introduction on what governance is. The second one will explore a little bit more the more traditional approaches to anti-corruption, while the third one, for example, will focus a little bit more on innovation in the domain, and so far and so on. So these are, of course, with these 5 modules, we will try to build a sort of narrative to take the participants towards also the evolution of the touch on the thinking on corruption, and how we have elaborated, for example, policies or regulations or new solutions for fighting it. Of course, the lessons will be mainly given by Claudia, Saba, one of our colleagues, and myself, but then of course there are many other participants from the Basel Institute, so specifically where we have specific knowledge to give to them and teach to the students, and also external expert when some of the topic can be explained or explored better by someone else who has worked on the topic along the career. Yeah.
Thank you for this overview, Jacopo. Claudia, can you elaborate a little bit on what Jacopo just said and who else is involved in the program?
Sure. So, of course, we have a wealth of knowledge and expertise here at the Institute. So we will be working closely with the Basel Institute team. We will have colleagues from our private sector team, who are specializing on compliance issues, collective action initiatives. We will have colleagues working in Ukraine, which will give us a lot of insight on what it is like developing and implementing anti-corruption programs in a war situation. We'll have colleagues from our green corruption program speaking about the links between climate change and corruption, and also how to safeguard the transition to green energy from a myriad of corruption risks that can hamper its effectiveness. We also have invited several outside guests from our network. So these will be presenters with concrete niche areas of expertise, such as measurement of corruption and anti-corruption, implementation of complex anti-corruption interventions in a captured state, and how to localize anti-corruption in conflict and post-conflict settings, among others. So it will be a really fabulous list of colleagues and experts that will be joining us for the teaching.
That will certainly give a broad aspects and perspective to the course. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Claudia and Jacopo. I think we're going to conclude here. And this was a very nice feature of our CAS Mastering Today's Anti-Corruption Challenges. And I'm sure prospective participants can get back to you with questions either today or in the chat or in the Q&A, or via our email address, study@baselgovernance.org. And with this, I'll hand it back to Jörg for the further process. Sorry, yes, Jörg?
Yes, thank you, Anna. I always find it very fascinating to hear Claudia and Jacopo speak about the program, also on the vast experience that everybody has. I think this, as I was mentioning before, this is really a great course that we are preparing here. So now let's go to the second great course that we are preparing. It's the Combating Financial Crime Through Asset Recovery program. And I will now be joined by two colleagues of mine. One is Thierry Ravalomanda. He is the head of training for the International Center for Asset Recovery and the lead instructor for the CES Combating Financial Crime Through Asset Recovery. And my colleague, Anne-Claude Scheidegger, who is a senior specialist also in the International Center for Asset Recovery, and also a lecturer and instructor in the program. So thank you for joining me, Thierry and Anne-Claude. Again, we are trying to tell stories about how people were basically coming into this field. And so my question to you both is also quite personal. So why are you basically doing this job? What is relevant in the case of fighting financial crime, and why are you basically here?
Thank you very much, Jörg, and good day, everyone. So I'm Thierry Ravalomanda, and as Jörg said, I'm the head of training here at the International Center for Asset Recovery of the Basel Institute on Governance. And Jörg, I began my career as a magistrat or magistrate in my country, Madagascar, many years ago. And as Claudia mentioned, I think I had the same experience where I witnessed firsthand how corruption undermines the rule of law and how it harms the most vulnerable and ultimately denies justice. And these early experiences really sparked a deep commitment to fight corruption and financial crime. And this led me to take on the role of an anti-corruption prosecutor very early in my career, when I worked on some of the most complex corruption cases in my country. And thereafter, I broadened my experience by joining the Financial Intelligence Unit of Madagascar, which gave me a new perspective on tackling illicit financial flows through a money laundering and financial analysis lens. And for the past 10 years now, I joined the International Center for Asset Recovery, where I focused on developing and delivering hands-on financial investigation and asset recovery training programs designed to strengthen and empower asset recovery practitioners to really make a difference in their countries in tackling these issues.
Thank you, Thierry. So Anne-Claude, last but not least, your story, how you came to this profession and this mission, actually, that you're doing with the Basel Institute now and in other roles before.
Thank you, Jörg, and good day, everyone. So I'm a former public prosecutor as well here in Switzerland. I worked in the field of economic and financial crime for 16 years, both at cantonal and federal level. But in parallel to my work as a prosecutor, I was also a lecturer in the Faculty of Law at the University of Fribourg for 12 years, where I taught criminal law exercises. I have currently put this activity on hold for 2 years. I was also a lecturer in another CAS in criminal justice. So when I joined the Basel Institute in July 2024, last year, I am now part of this fantastic training team. And I may say that the ICARS training, which bring together theoretical and practical aspects, as well as all the stakeholders involved in asset recovery around the table, it makes a real difference, as Thierry mentioned. And I think that the CAS, the CAS, has the same ambitions. So I'm really looking forward for this new program.
Thank you, Anne-Claude. And I hope that the stories that the four of you were telling are also an inspiration for some of the listeners today, or the people who are joining us from all over the world, what possibilities might be on the table for their future career development. And maybe we get many more people inspired by that. But looking more to the program itself, Thierry, who would be the target audience of our CAS, and what are the benefits that these people would have for their future careers?
No, thanks, Jörg. That's a very good question, because the CAS in asset recovery is designed for professionals and practitioners working or aspiring to work in anti-corruption, anti-money laundering, financial investigation, asset recovery, international cooperation. And I think it is particularly relevant for, of course, law enforcement officers, prosecutors, and financial intelligence analysts, but also technical experts in anti-corruption or asset recovery agencies, professionals also administering anti-corruption and asset recovery programs, policymakers, international advisors who are working on these topics, but also civil society actors, forensic auditors, investigative journalists, so quite a wide range of professionals, actually. And as you said, the benefits of this program, in addition to what you said, Jörg, as an additional diploma for participants from the University of Basel, is that it offers a unique blend of academic depth and practical application. And I think the academic foundation of this course strengthens the participants' ability to think critically, to engage with complex and legal policy discussions, frameworks, and reflects on the systemic challenges when it comes to asset recovery. But at the very same time, the hands-on and practitioner-led approach that we have at ICAR ensures that participants acquire also the skills and methodologies to directly apply these knowledge and skills in their work. So this approach only equips them not only with asset recovery tools and how to apply them effectively, but also how to shape, how to innovate, how to improve strategies and institutional approaches in their own context. So I believe that the CAS can enhance professionals' profiles for senior and specialized roles in their respective current professions. And it is really, as well, I see it a very valuable step for professionals seeking to contribute meaningfully in the fight against corruption and illicit financial flows, whether in their organization, their country, or globally.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Thierry. I think that's a great overview. Maybe looking into the content now, Anne-Claude, maybe a question for you. So we've heard about the benefits. So what are the contents more concretely that you will be covering in the CAS, and how are they involved in the structural framework of the program?
Yes, Jörg, thank you. So as Thierry mentioned, the CAS will offer an effective balance between theoretical foundation and practical application. It is designed to reflect as closely as possible the real-life work of practitioners involved in asset recovery, while fostering a deeper understanding of broader global dynamics, challenges, and trends. So concretely, the program is organized into 5 modules. So in a few words, the introductory module will allow us to explore key concepts and terminology such what is asset recovery, why does it matter, who is involved, and in what legal and institutional frameworks does it operate, as well as the phenomenon of financial crime. Through the first thematic module and the application module, we turn to the practical side of financial crime investigation, following the key stages of a typical case, from detection, pre-investigation, to the investigation itself, judicial proceedings, and ultimately the asset recovery process, stricto sensu, or enforcement process. These modules cover concrete methods, tools, common challenges, for example, the relevance of MLA, for example, and the challenges related to navigating different legal traditions, but also good practices. This part of the program is grounded in solid theoretical principles while also being highly practical. It means concretely that participants will be involved in a simulated investigations which replicates a real-life case. The second thematic module will examine asset recovery from a political economy perspective, exploring its role in governance, economic stability, and security. It will also cover the topic of international sanctions. And finally, the concluding module brings together the key elements covered throughout the program. This includes, for example, how law enforcement and stakeholders from the private sector or the civil society can work together, but also the challenges related to the new technology. So again, that in a few words is the program that we can expect.
Thank you, and Claude. I think it's a really great program that you have compiled. I was just wondering, since we are focusing a lot about a practical case, Thierry, can you maybe elaborate a little bit on how realistic that case that you're providing is?
Thanks, Jörg. And as you know, the International Center for Asset Recovery, and particularly this training team, and that's the hallmark of our training methodology and training offer, is that all the trainings that we conduct are all centered around this very complex and immersive practical exercise that replicates a financial investigation around corruption, money laundering, and other topics. And it is a methodology that has been tested for the past 15 to 20 years. We call it experiential learning approach, and participants take part in groups in this simulated financial investigation where they unravel complex financial transactions, money laundering or corruption schemes. And for example, we ask them to conduct realistic open source intelligence search, database search. They even participate in AI-powered simulated financial interviews. They also engage in guided discussions with the training facilitators on investigative steps, challenges, and strategies. So these hands-on experience not only brings the training to life and bring the content to life, but it reinforces critical thinking, problem solving, and support the application of knowledge gained through lectures, readings, etc., ensuring a deep and lasting learning impact. We strongly believe in learning by doing, and not just learning by just reading or listening. So we just wanted to bring that unique experience within a CAS, and very excited about it, to be honest.
I'm also excited on the work that you're doing in the preparation using artificial intelligence. You showed this in a webinar that you were giving a few months ago. It's really a very nice approach that you're taking. So, Claude, maybe last question to you. So we've seen you and Thierry as two faces of the program. Maybe you can mention a few other things and a few other people that are teaching in the program.
Yes, Jörg, sure. It won't be just Thierry, Tom Walugembe, and me. The teaching team includes experts and academics from the Basel Institute and the University of Basel, along with contributions from specialists across different disciplines and sectors. So it was already mentioned, but our colleague from the Basel Institute will take part in the CAS. They are all professional and recognized experts in their respective fields, and they will bring both technical knowledge and valuable experience to this program. I really want to emphasize this point because it is one of the major strengths of this CAS. While academically solid, it is designed to be as practice-oriented as possible, and of course, professionally relevant as possible. Finally, with the involvement of university lecturers and experts from our global network, participants will benefit from a rich variety of perspectives, connecting theory with a real-world application across sectors.
Thank you so much, Claude and Thierry, for this very interesting insight into the CAS combating financial crime through asset recovery. So if participants have questions, please let us know in the chat, or as Anna said before, let us get in contact with us through our email study@baselgovernance.org. So we are a little bit over time, but let's move to the next part of this info session, and that's basically on the question how to apply. And I give the floor again to my colleague Anna to talk about that.
Thank you, Jörg. Yeah, I'm going to try to be a bit quick if we only have 10 minutes left, so we can also have time for questions. How to apply for our courses. Basically, what we want in terms of admission requirement would be a university degree recognized by the University of Basel, and this should be a bachelor degree or higher degree. And we ideally also want you to have at least 3 years of relevant professional experience. People with different backgrounds, of course, like you heard, and if you have doubt about if your degree is recognized or if your experience is relevant, just drop an email to us and then we'll tell you. So, of course, you should be able to invest around 11 to 12 hours in your studies. So that will be a total of 300 hours over the 6-month program. You should be proficient in English. There is no test, so we don't require any proof that you speak English. But of course, this is for you. If you want to be able to follow the courses and take part in the discussions, we expect you to speak English. And last but not least, you should also have a good internet connection wherever you are, if you don't intend to come follow the courses here in Basel. Next slides, please. So the application process is pretty straightforward. Of course, on our websites, on the Basel Institute webpage, you will find an electronic application form where you'll be asked about basic information about you, your professional background. You should upload a motivation letter, not too long, not too short, of course. And this is, the motivation letter should be about why you are interested in the course, how would it benefit your professional development and career, and what you believe you can contribute to the course This is both academically and through your experience. Basically, we want to learn about you personally and your background, goals, and motivation to apply. Also, you should upload a CV and the copies of your degrees. Then there is, Jörg will come to this a little bit after, but we ask you also questions about how you plan to fund your studies, and there is, of course, as in every apply form, terms and condition and data privacy policy. Then you will receive a confirmation of receipt. We will review your application, and if we think you meet the criteria to apply, then we will interview you for about 30 to 45 minutes just to get to know you a little bit and understand your motivation more in depth. Maybe clarify also the points that weren't clear before. And once this is over, you will receive an email with our decision. Then, of course, you will receive the invoice for the tuition fees, and then you will start studying. Next, thanks. So the total cost per program is in Swiss francs, and it's 5,600 francs. It includes all the admission and registration, the teachers, the access to the online platforms and courses, materials, and the tests. However, it does not include any of your personal study costs, so internet access or printing, or any travel costs if you wish to join us in Basel for the in-person events. Please bear in mind that some employer can provide financial support for your professional development, so check with them if something can be done. Even if it's a part of the program, it can already be a big help. So if you need a recommendation letter or further documents from our part, we can also provide this for you. So the Basel Institute is, of course, a non-profit organization. So we can provide a waiver for financial support, and this is on demand. So please ask us at study@baselgovernance.org. Back to you, Jörg. I think you're muted.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much for this overview. We will now look a little bit into the Gretta Fenner Scholarship Fund, also about funding, certainly. So what we, and you were saying this very nicely, we cannot provide any funds from our own funds that we're using for our projects for the participants. So we have set up the Gretta Fenner Scholarship Fund, named in honor of our late managing director, Gretta Fenner, who has tragically died last year. We would like to support people financially as much and as good as we can. But as you know, funding is an issue everywhere in the world now, as some great donors have retracted their funding contributions for international development. And it is really difficult to raise funds. We are doing this as we speak. My colleagues are very engaged in support in getting together financial contributions for support. And we hope that we can support as many people as possible. But our financial resources for the fund are still limited, so we probably will not be able to fund everybody. And what I would also say is there is no entitlement to financial support. So it's really something that we provide as good as we can, but there is no entitlement. Let's just quickly go through the process. Because we are providing financial fund applications only for people who have been accepted for one of the study programs of Basel STUDY. So for everybody who is accepted for one of the CES programs, we will send the link to an online form, a separate online form for financial support applications. So Then for everybody who receives that form, we need additional information that is basically covering the issues of your financial situation, your income situation, and also endorsements and reference letters, including one from your employer, that gives us an idea of how much funding is available for you through your employer, and whether your employer is also supporting morally your study activities. We cannot give any price reductions for individual organizations at this point, unfortunately, but this is certainly quite a dynamic issue. We are trying to fundraise as good as we can, and as I said before, we are trying to support as many people as possible, but we cannot only give what we have. So it's certainly not, we're certainly not able to fund everybody who has been applying. So that's basically the information that I would like to give about the financial aspects, the scholarship fund. And since we have only a few minutes left, maybe we have a couple of questions. I don't know if we do, because I cannot see them at the moment, but maybe I can.
We had Kalenga who raised their hands.
Yes, maybe Anna, you can take that over.
Yes, Kalenga, would you like to ask your questions, maybe? Or if not, we have Jesus who had a question for us. Jesus, please unmic yourself and talk to us. Or maybe I can ask, or I will read your questions directly in the chat. So your question was, thank you for the very informative presentation. I would like to ask whether the asset recovery program is suited for somebody interested in reorienting his career to work in a private law firm working in asset recovery of government funds. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Maybe that's a question for Thierry. I don't know. I would say yes, because we are certainly also including people who are thinking about a career change in whatever direction. But maybe Thierry, you have a better answer on that.
No, thanks, Work, and thanks for this question. I think it could be very relevant for private lawyers, and actually we really welcome private lawyers to join the CAS as well, because private lawyers are very much involved in asset recovery litigations of any kind, and that expertise could really assist you if you are planning to reorient yourself and working for a private law firm, working in asset recovery. So definitely, I think as a lawyer already, you have some background knowledge, and the CAS would be mostly valuable for you.
Okay, thanks, Thierry. I think the other question about what was that? Whether the online sessions, yes, this was answered by Anna in writing, but again, I would say that the online sessions are the core element of the programs, both programs, and we do them in an interactive way. So you will get some input from our lecturers, some of you that you've seen today, but the core element is peer-to-peer learning. So you also in these online sessions, you will have discussions around topics, casework, group work, and that's why these online sessions will be on a fixed date every week. So we have not decided when, on which day and which time this will be, probably on a Thursday noon, Central European time. But especially the time depends on the time zones of the participants that finally will make up the class. So it's basically not something that you can consume whenever you like, but you're basically asked to participate actively in the discussions. And so it's something there where you need to be present when it takes place. And the weekly study time, yes, we've said 11 to 12 hours per week. I mean, the entire program has to have 300 hours. So if you calculate that or break this down to 6 months, then you come up with 11 to 12 hours per week, which is basically an average number. And there will certainly be some weeks where there is more to do and others where there's less to do. But as an average, 11 to 12 hours per week, including these 4 hours of the online sessions, and everything else will be self-study or studies that you are doing together with other peers in groups, and which is basically with material that we are providing over the learning platform, the online learning platform of the University of Basel. So that's literature, that's additional videos, podcasts, quizzes, whatever. And this you can do whenever you have time and like to do that. Good. I think these were all questions that I've seen. Yeah. Okay, so again, thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much to all of my colleagues that have given a great overview, I think, about what the courses will be all about, what we have in mind. I hope that everybody who was listening and watching this info session is inspired of participating in one of the programs. We are happy to hear from you. If you would like to get in touch with us, Anna and I will be certainly available for you to help you and answer additional questions that you might have. So please get in touch with us. Ideally, depending on wherever you contact us over the email address study@baselgovernance.org. So thank you very much for joining us today and being with us. And thank you very much and have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.